Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. It is Taylor Bridges here with another review of Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 7. Episode is titled Jamaican Me Crazy. The episode starts back with Gina and Clint after their argument, and it really is appalling that Gina can criticize this man's hair color non-stop. Thus far, all 7 episodes, she said something about it so far, under the guise of a preference. But the minute he states his preference, it's a problem. And it's only because his preference isn't favorable to her. If he mentioned he likes slender and athletic, right? Because he's like, shoot, since we talking preferences, shoot, this is mine. She was bold and loud about hers. So he's just like, this is mine. But if he would have said his preference was curvy, thick, all of that, then it would be no issue. His preference is only a problem because it's not favorable to Gina and Nicole, who also was upset about it because her behind not slender and athletic either. That's the only reason. But then you got a Jasmine who is slender and athletic. The preference is favorable to a body type like Jasmine's. I don't know. I just feel like y'all ladies are doing too much just because. If all the ladies were 5'5" and under, and his preference was a lady that's 5'8", they would be mad about it. You know? So it's just like Clint was going to be doomed either way. These women don't know what they want. Clint is venting to the guys. He's expressing himself very well. Like, how somebody handles themselves during a disagreement is very vital. Like, he handled this super well to me. Because Gina was tripping. And even the way he articulated and communicated to the guys, like, he was calm and articulate, clear. I loved it. His intent to me is very obvious. I mean, his intent as far as Gina with the comment, I think clearly he didn't mean any harm. I don't think so. I think Aries was also being very level-headed in bringing forth the consideration that perhaps Gina was triggered because of her own self-consciousness towards her weight, you know, and to help him. And Aries did try to help him consider that though he didn't mean it to attack Gina, it's how she felt. It is how she felt. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad Clint can see ways in which he could have articulated it different. Because, like, even though I feel like, I don't think he did anything wrong. However, like, to see, if you can see at least how you could have handled things different in a disagreement, like, that's better for your spirit. Like, if Gina can't self-reflect enough to see where she also could have did things differently, then that's on her. But at least he's like, look, you know what? At the end of the day, okay, fine. Like, I made the girl feel a way. I made her feel this way. That wasn't my intention. And I can at least apologize for that. For sure. Like, for sure. And I can respect that. I really feel bad for Clint, though. Like, everything was going just fine. Like, he was taking her constant put downs about his appearance like a G. And then she flips the script like super fake, and I can't stand Gina. Like, that's it. The couples are all at dinner. I loved Jasmine and Nicole's outfits. They looked super good. Clint and Gina had gotten a chance to talk by this point, and I'm glad they did it because it would have been awkward at the table. But Gina has zero accountability. So, I'm not on Twitter and whatnot, so I don't know like what's going on like for the show and what people are saying. But I'm hoping I'm pretty sure people are tearing her behind up as they should. Gina has no accountability, like none. And that's like extremely irking to my spirit. Nicole, STFU. That's what you can do. Just because girl, please. We giving you the benefit of the doubt right now because you and Chris have been keeping it cool, but we will not pretend like we all know that you are crazy and emotional. It's been 1 week, sis. You ain't fooling us. So you can be quiet with the judgment. You have no leg to stand on because your true colors will come out sooner or later as well. So stop it. Stop with all this criticism and judgment about we're really hurt. If Gina's okay with moving forward, then I guess we can too. Girl, don't nobody care what you think about nobody. Nobody cares. You worry about your relationship. Like, here you go. Because you've had a successful 1 week with somebody, because you said yourself that when people are around you after so long, they typically can't stand your behind. You said that. So just because you've been around for a week without going crazy doesn't mean that you have no leg to stand on, sis. Be quiet. Be quiet. But then again, Kirsten, all of them, shut up. Shut up. But then again, they don't have context. But like I said last video, even if they did have context, I'd be willing to bet that they still would not see the error in their ways and see how Gina is dead wrong. Period. The couples are going around saying what they rate their relationships now that they've been married for a week and they're about to leave the honeymoon. Dominique and McKinley say they're at a 7.5, and I'm like, what the F did we miss? Y'all literally are not into each other. Y'all were not into each other at all last episode. In fact, y'all have been struggling with your physical and emotional connection. So I felt like the rating was fake. Like, it lets me know you're not going to be real and you're not going to give an honest effort in this process. That's what that let me know. I would have respected it more if they were like, you know what? We're leaving here at a 4, but we're both super committed to the process and we know what we want to work on moving forward. We are at a very low place right now. We still are working on developing that emotional and romantic connection, but we have some ideas as to what we can do moving forward, and we are committed to seeing this journey through. I can respect that. But the whole 7.5, absolutely not. That is like extremely above average, and that is extremely not where y'all are. Y'all have no connection. So both of y'all, fake. Nicole, the question was, where do you rate your relationship now that you've been married 1 week? This whole diatribe about what happens when y'all get back home is unnecessary. Y'all haven't even gotten there yet. Y'all haven't even got back on the departing plane yet. Relax. Keep it short and sweet. But that's what happens. When you could tell she never had nothing. So she ain't had a dude like Chris. So she's starting to get this superiority thing in her head where she thinks she's got it all together because her and her relationship, they are thriving. They are. But see, Nicole is starting to forget where she came from in this dating game. With whack dudes who told her she was nothing and didn't deserve love. The same dudes who she let penetrate her own self-esteem and confidence and convince her of these things. Nicole, hush. You thinking you just got this on like, yeah, this is good now, but I don't know when we get home. You better just bask in the moment, bask in the happiness and love that is what it is now. The answer was supposed to be short and sweet. Where do you rate? 1 to 10. All of this negative mess. See, this you're projecting because you know your behind is hard to deal with. I love Clint. I do. I like Clint. I like his bluntness, and I love his curiosity. It's very similar. It's very similar to my personality, so that's why I like him so much. Gina needs to tighten up because Clint is, at the very least, a very fun dude. He's a very fun dude. He's the most fun guy of all the men. He sells boats all year. He's super easygoing and funny. She needs to quit it. Period. Kirsten and Shaq rate their relationship at a 7. I'm like, okay, Kirsten, I'm starting to think you're fronting a bit in front of the cameras. The way Shaq says, because we can see you're not into Shaq. Like, we can see that. I don't know why. Shaq is a catch. I like Shaq, but you're just not. So rating y'all's emotional and physical connection at a 7, when y'all haven't even kissed on the lips, let alone the cheek, is fake. All this man gets is all he can do is give you a forehead kiss. So y'all's emotional and physical connection is not at a 7 at all. Gina says she's at a 5. That's a realistic rating. I still do not like her, but I do think that her and Clint can pull it together to finish out the season okay. At least. Jasmine, please stop saying you fall in love easily. That suggests you have no self-control or discernment. It's not the flex you think it is. Stop saying that out loud. These men do not force you to fall in love with them. You choose to invest your emotions And on top of that, you're clearly misconstruing what falling in love entails. Because can you actually even do that? Can you fall in love with almost everyone that you're with? I mean, it's definitely something there, but I don't think it's love. So stop saying that you fall in love easily. It's not. My opinion is it's really not that simple. I don't know what you're construing it as, what you're misconstruing it as, but it's not love, sis. So say you fall into lust, you fall into obsession, you fall into infatuation, you fall into something else. You fall into a fantasy, you fall in love with the potential of somebody, those things. But falling in love with as easily it really don't work like that. So stop saying that aloud. But she did look pretty this whole honeymoon. She did. Jasmine looks good the whole honeymoon. I am really glad she had those braids because I love our black queens on Married at First Sight. But they come on, y'all already know they come on here with these raggedy wigs. Kirsten looked like she was just waking up at every scene damn near this whole honeymoon, for real. I'm so glad Jasmine opted for the braids. It made all the difference because Jasmine is naturally beautiful. I couldn't even imagine with a ooh. I'm so glad. She looked like a goddess. Kirsten sometimes looked like she was like a rooster. Like it was a lot. She should have opted for braids too. Jasmine rates her and Aries at a 7.58. Aries rates him a 7. Lies. Aries, you don't like her. That's a lie. But we'll get back to it. Chris asks Aries if he thinks he can fall in love with Jasmine. And we already know whatever Aries answers from this point on is going to be a bold-faced lie. It doesn't matter. But in his defense, it's only been 1 week. Calm down. And Jasmine, no sort of love or like will be on the table unless you plan on giving this man sex. That's what it is with Aries. So don't worry. Well, she didn't ask. Chris asked. But everybody, Aries, love, like is not on the table with Aries unless it involves sex. They won't get anywhere close to that unless Jasmine plans on giving it up. There's no way. This is why a few videos back I said Jasmine needs to decide what she needs by decision day to say yes. Either she's going to push her own emotions and concerns to the side to give him sex and hope and pray to God that he loves her afterwards, or she can go ahead and withhold her body from this dude, be content with the fact that he's never going to open up, and that remaining married is not going to work. Like, it's pretty simple. You want to stay married? It's going to, that's not a big possibility. But in order for that to even be a possibility, you're going to have to have sex with him. You don't have to, but for him, you're going to have to. So either have sex with him and hope that he loves you back, or choose your dignity and self-love and understand that this is a wash. This is finished before it started. Aries is not one to be trusted, especially with your emotions and especially with your body, Jasmine. Do not do it. Dominique tells McKinley she wants him to want to do the activities, but to do all the activities they've been doing. But I'm like, that's not a very sensible expectation. Y'all are strangers. So it's not like you went into the honeymoon knowing what the other likes to do for fun. He was out of his comfort zone, period. There's only so many excursions to choose from. He was trying to be a good sport and impress you and, go with the flow and maintain the vibe. But if he would have said, you know what, I'm not comfortable going horseback riding. That's not my thing. It's not my thing to go kayaking, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do it. That would have been a problem too. So damn if you do, damn if you don't. I don't think it's worth Dominique beating him over the head about it. It's a vacation. And he doesn't want to do those things. That's not his style. I don't think that makes him a bad guy. Me personally, I am very spontaneous. I have done most excursions: skydiving, snorkeling, ziplining, horseback riding, etc. But most vacations, I want to do nothing that requires energy. I'm not joking. I'm not into those trips that are like excursion heavy unless we're going on a trip specifically for the said activity or excursion. Otherwise, beach, unlimited drinks, and a pool, you know, back and forth from the beach to the pool bar, the pool bar, that's my vibe. That's it. That's all I want to do. And all this other stuff takes energy. Y'all been on vacation? Think about it. To go like on a horseback riding excursion, it's a vibe, right? It's a whole thing. It's something enjoyable. But like if you're on a trip to like simply relax, like that takes energy. You got to go back to the room, get dressed. You got to show up. You got to wait for everybody else on the excursion to show up. You got to go through training or whatever type of instructions they give you. It's just like a whole to-do. It just is. And you have to be in a mood for that. And if that's not his normal thing to begin with, then it's not like as fun. It's like, yay, okay, I'm doing it because you doing it. We here, like, cool. Like, to me, I think that should be enough. To me. Like, that's my opinion. I think let it go, Dominique. Stop beating him over the head because he didn't want to do the excursions and he wasn't happy-go-lucky. He was a good sport about it. And I think, okay, yeah, one could say he was complaining. On the other hand, you could say he was just expressing himself. And he has the right to, and I think he should. I think him expressing himself is an opportunity for you to get to know him better. Instead of using it against him, like, you don't want to do nothing, you don't do nothing. Maybe like, okay, my husband not into all this, like, active stuff. Let me think of something nice for him. Maybe I could book us, like, massages or, like, a hot tub date, you know, when we feed each other strawberries. Something that's more his vibe. Like, I don't think it's something that should divide y'all. Instead, explore, especially if you're as spontaneous and active as you say, then Dominique should be down for whatever. But beat him over the head for it, I don't think that was cool. Dominique wants a man to do everything that she wants to do. She wants a rag doll. She doesn't want an adult human with their own likes and interests. Like, be grateful that the man tried. If you don't like his lack of spontaneity, take that up with the experts. He's just being himself. It's not his fault that they paired y'all. They didn't pair you with some big daredevil. That's not McKinley's fault. And I don't think McKinley should be chastised constantly. He's just being who he is. And Dominique needs to realize that. And I don't even like McKinley. I don't like Dominique's behind either. But you know what I mean? Like, leave McKinley alone. Dominique has criticized McKinley nonstop when you think about it. Like, she said nothing really positive about him. She's controlling and she wants things her way. And she thinks she's more enlightened and mature than she really is. That's why they labeled her as this old soul. I ain't heard that label yet since the show started. She's a younger version of Gina, especially with the constant criticism and the lack of introspection. Dominique, another one, just like Gina, a lack of accountability. And her expecting a complete stranger to acquiesce to the type of person she wants is childish. And it indicates how lost her behind is. Like I've been saying. She thinks he's the only one that has growing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't talk at all when the cameras weren't around. Like kind of like a Kirsten and Shaq. Like how Shaq says, like, when the cameras are around, Kirsten doesn't do any of this. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how Dominique and McKinley were. Like, Dominique doesn't seem interested either. She just nitpicks on this man nonstop. It's like, sis. Like, you are... Okay, Dominique. Dominique's another one, just like Gina. Do we need to hold up a mirror to the face? Like, do you know what's going on here? Do you know where you where you stand in this realm? Like, not saying like Dominique has to go for a guy like McKinley, but like, you doing a lot of complaining, sis. Like, you doing a lot of nitpicking and complaining and criticizing and all of this, and it's like you not even offering much either, but criticizing, complaining, and all of that, and bad fashions. So there's that. Like, horrible fashions. Like, horrible. You're the worst dressed on the show. Chris is crying because the apartments won't let his 2 dogs occupy the place. It's a 2-dog limit. They have 3 dogs. And I'm glad they put those restrictions. Who the F wants to live near somebody or under somebody under an apartment complex with 3 dang on dogs? It's inconsiderate, and dogs aren't even supposed to live like that. That's too confined. Get a house. Rent a house at the very least if you want all those pets. I'm a huge dog lover too. I love dogs, and I understand the bond one grows with their dog. But unless you plan on marrying your dogs, they cannot be everything for you. That's that. Say what you want. It's unhealthy. Your spouse for sure should come before the damn dog. This isn't like the Alexis and Justin situation from last season where the two dogs going at it. Justin stupidly let his dog gave the dog away, yada yada yada. This is different. If y'all were really all in to make a marriage work, you'd find provisions for the time being. Y'all got 2 months of filming. You can figure it out. And then y'all are back to reality. And it's like, they didn't ask you to put the dogs down. Y'all just can't stay with all them damn dogs. It's one less dog. Y'all have 3 dogs. 1 dog has to go elsewhere. Also, Married at First Sight should vet this sort of thing ahead of time. I was so irritated over this. Married at First Sight is trifling. What, like, y'all know these people have dogs and kids and whatever else. Why would y'all let them on this show like this? If you already know the stipulations, y'all already signed contracts and leases or whatever with these apartment complexes ahead of time. So it's trifling. Now I'm like, what's going to happen for Jasmine and her zoo? Because something got to happen with that. Because she got a zoo. The unhealthy emotional reliance that humans have on animals is a huge topic for another day. But we got to quit it. Nicole does have the option to have her dog stay with her dad, which is great. Chris also needs to come forth with a compromise / solution as well. That's my opinion. I don't think it's fair for one person to be without their pet / companion and the other not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's fair. I think that's like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Chris, I understand, like, all this crying. I'm not doing the toxic masculinity thing. It's just like, Chris, they're not asking you to put these dogs down. And you couldn't even put the dog in the daycare to come here. That's a problem. How do you live everyday life then? Like, beyond the show. Like, having a honeymoon is a normal thing for married couples. So going on trips, going on road trips, going on vacations, what happens then? You have so much anxiety around and emotions around boarding the dog to go to like a groomer or something in the or boarding, whatever it's called, in the meantime. Like, that's such a big thing for you. I don't know how I would feel about it. I don't know, but they ultimately decided to have Nicole's dog stay at her apartment for a few weeks, and the dad will be there with the dog. But I'm like, Nicole, you need to Chris needs to make sacrifices as well. Like, it shouldn't be all about just what works for Chris. Y'all both have dogs, because I can definitely see Nicole being resentful in the future, and this being a point of contention in their relationship in the near future. It for sure is going to happen. That's why it's best to make a compromise that both people need to lose and gain. Both of y'all should be without your pets for a certain amount of time, and both should have the comfort of their pet at the same time. And then Chris wins either way, because he has 2 pets. So at all times, he'd have at least 1 pet with them at all times. So I don't think it's difficult, like, for Nicole to have her dog over. Like, Chris could swap out one of his dogs with Nicole. You know what I mean? Like, 1 week Nicole's dog is gone, 1 week Nicole's, and then Chris's dogs are there. Then when Nicole's dog is there, one of Chris's dog goes. Chris has it way better. Nicole has like the extreme short end of the stick. Like, I feel like this could definitely be like a 60-40. This is more like an 80-20 to me, and I feel like they can at least put it at a 60-40. Chris needs to make some type of compromise, or else this will not work. Chris, I don't know. What's intuitive to say is man up, and it's not because he's being emotional about it. It's just the problem solving of it all. Like, the fact that Nicole is alone having to pretty much problem solve this while you want to be on the balcony crying and your eyes out. Like, to me, this is my opinion. It's not attractive. I'm a feminine woman. I want a masculine man. I want a man with a plan. What's the plan? We ain't got this crying. What? Dude, your dogs ain't dying. What's the plan? But you see how Nicole went to the room, called her dad. Hey, dad, if push come to shove, do I have the option where you can come stay with the dogs? I don't like the option. I don't want it. But that's because that's what adults do. Adults do. We make compromises. We you know what I mean? So I'm like, Chris, I don't like the way you necessarily handled that. I feel like he just like immediately broke down instead of like being, it sucks to like just manly, masculine. And if it were a woman, I'd say being feminine, womanly, being an adult. So let me not say manly or womanly. Being an adult. Come on. Man up. Adult up. Be an adult. Come on. Like, and even the expectation of like y'all's hella pets. Once again, they bring these people on these shows. This is ridiculous. I'm curious to see what they're going to say to Jasmine. Aries and Jasmine are having breakfast, and Aries tries to gaslight Jasmine, saying that the vibe was off putting once they gave different ratings. No, Jasmine actually gave her rating first. Then you said yours, which was only a half point under her rating. She gave it a 7.58. You gave it a 7. So it was a half point to a point under. Why would she have smoke for you rating a half point to a point under her rating unless she figured your behind was lying? I can already tell Aries is going to gaslight Jasmine the whole marriage into believing she's misreading things. Okay, because he doesn't want to seem like as big of a F-boy as he's coming off. That's what I think he's going to do. Aries says he's stressed out during this process because he feels a friend vibe from Jasmine. He elaborates on how he knows she'd come to his rescue the minute he's in need, but he needs more time on his end. He knows the moment he needs her, Jasmine will come run in, do whatever it takes, but he needs more time. You're a trifling, you're an F-boy. Trifling. There's no way around it. The couples are finally moving into their apartments. This is where ish gets real, so I'm really excited. I do like that Gina and Clint are back in good spirits. They moved past the disagreement so far, it seems. And they seem like they're back in the process. I'm glad about that because I can't stand when like couples have like a conflict or something and it just prolongs the whole season over this stupid conversation. Like, it's so stupid. And it ain't like the experts know how to come in and help dead it and help bring it to light. Like, they don't do that. They don't add anything. So I'm glad that Gina and Clint are back in good spirits. They were able to do this on their own. So far, Kirsten and Shaq haven't even progressed to cheek kisses. I just want to point that out. Aries is being bossy in the apartment and making these executive decisions about all the rules in the apartment, but I actually don't blame him. Jasmine has a zoo at her place, so like Aries said, like, I can imagine her level of cleanliness being a bit different from his. Taking off her shoes, solidifying the closet size, all those things I do think need to be established early on. I do. Because cleanliness standards can be deal breakers in relationships. You can love somebody, like somebody as much as you want. Living with them and seeing their everyday habits brings out a whole new side of somebody that it doesn't matter how much you try to hide. It's the real you. Like, you can't hide it. It's who you are. So living with somebody, okay, and it's a reflection of you, how you keep your space. So I'm with Aries. Like, no, let's go ahead and set these rules and expectations right now because shoes not in the house. This is my side of the closet right here. We don't need to mix it up. We need to have our own size so we can stay organized. Keep your stuff on your side, my stuff on my side. Like, I'm with him on that. I am. But Aries can't even talk to her and look at her at the same time. Like, he's always looking away when they're speaking. It's like, clearly he's he only asks Jasmine questions that the producers have given him. Like, I really wonder if he's even asked Jasmine anything about herself that he's genuinely wanted to know on his own, other than her favorite sex position. I wonder if he's wanted to know anything else about her. on his own. But his place was really nice. I'm not gonna lie, his place was really, 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 really nice. That was a nice house. And he kept it really well. That was a bachelor pad. It was really nice. And his place actually does reflect him very well. It's very put together, which isn't a bad thing. I was wrong about McKinley being in Nashville for 4 years. It's actually been about 5 months. It's not as bad as if it were 4 years, but still, you're in your mid-30s, you're proclaiming to be ready for marriage, and you don't even have yourself stabilized yet. Like, you can't bring security to anybody. Why are you on this show? And he says he didn't want to jump into a new place because he had signed up for this process. And do not blame your lack of foundation on this show, because most people apply for Married at First Sight for the hell of it. First of all, we know that. People just be like, you know what? Let me just do it. They're never going to choose me anyway. Let me just do it. Like, nobody is sitting, nobody. I don't care what these people say before they get on this show. Nope. Nobody single is sitting around like, you know what? I'm not having luck on none of these apps. Nobody, you know what? I'm going to meet my husband. I'm signing for Married at First Sight. I know I'm going to find my husband on there. I know I'm going to be happily ever after. You can't tell me these people have, people come on here with genuine intentions. Yes. But it reminds me of like being a volunteer at a circus. Like a circus being like, who wants to volunteer? And it's like, you know what? Shoot, what do I have to lose? I'll come up. Sure. Like, whatever. You raise your hand and be like, oh crap, you chose me? Oh, okay. That's what signing up for Married at First Sight is. It's not like you really want to come on here to meet the love of your life. So cut it, McKinley. Oh my gosh. Most people don't even expect to get chosen. And you don't know where you want to end up. Like, why are you coming on this show about marriage and you don't have any stability? Your logic is super weird. You are super immature. Dominique is clocking it. I got to give her that. It's a trained show with both of y'all. So that ends the review of this episode. It was a pretty cool episode. Aries continues to gaslight. Gina continues to gaslight. Dominique continues to gaslight. It's a lot of gaslighting. It should have been called Gaslighting Me Crazy, not Jamaican Me Crazy. It was a lot of gaslighting in this episode, but the season is coming on along. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you will be so kind to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye-bye.